Welcome to RIT Talk. We're here to raise awareness about mental health. One way of doing that is to talk about it, and that's what we're going to do. Have a great day, don't quit, and keep pushing forward. And we're with Raul. Go ahead,
Hey,
tell us a
hey
little bit about
Barry.
yourself.
Hey, my name is Raul Carlos. I've been a firefighter EMT for a little over about 7 years now. 4 of those years were at Rural Metro, and the other three are with Yuma Proving Ground. Um, I have a 4-year-old that drives me crazy, but keeps me straight in line. So,
All right. What brought you into the fire service?
um, So usually there's we make fun of it in the fire service, like the generic question, where it's like, well, I want to help people. But it's actually funny with my situation. The fire service was not my first option. Um, it came about as a basically extra credits for college. So I figured that, and it was I think it was a challenge, like to myself, because I had already seen about it, and I saw that it was a year long.
Okay.
It was pretty hard, so I took that challenge, and like anything else, you fall in love with it the more you do it. So,
All right.
um, so once I was already getting started in, I didn't really have a lot of knowledge on the fire service, uh,
Okay.
deeper than what the outside, seems like. Big red truck. Um, but now, it's definitely I can see that I definitely joined to make a difference in the community. It's not a big difference, but I think it is. It's
Okay.
so that's kind of how I went about. I don't regret it single
All right.
day.
All right. Yeah, it's that saying, those all those little decisions or whatever, they turn into a big decision, or all
Mhm.
those little differences turn into a big difference. So,
They do. Yeah, I definitely see that, and I haven't been in the game that long. But even just I think the first two years, and I was lucky enough to start for a department like Rural Metro, where you run a lot of calls and you see a lot of stuff, and I think that kind of set my mind, um to, like you said, a little difference like ends up making a big one in the end.
all right. What's one thing that you think would help improve firefighter or first responder mental health?
So the biggest thing is I think communication.
Okay.
The fire service as well as the military, because I think we take a lot of the standards that the military uses. Um, is we don't really communicate. A lot of the guys and girls, women and men, they see a lot of stuff and they hold it in. It's because traditionally the fire service has always been, you go in and you do your job and you don't complain. And so I
Okay.
think that I think now as newer generations are coming along, we're starting to see a change where people are more open to talking about, if they have a maybe a hard call that they dealt with or something going on, even if it's personal. Um, that's one of the things that I like about this career is you basically have a second family away from home. And and so I think that having a good crew and being able to share, just even if it's like the little things, that I think it's important. It makes a big difference because, like I said, we tend to hold a lot of the stuff that we see or deal with, and then, we don't really process it correctly, you know?
Okay.
So I think definitely communicating, being more open, in a way, just reaching out. Um, if you're having any problems or personal or work related, if there's something that is kind of eating you away, um, talk about it, you know. It's
Okay.
I think that's the hardest first step, but I think after that it makes a big difference. So
Yeah.
definitely communication, I would say, a little more communication. And with that too, I mean, we have the resources out there for mental health awareness, but I also feel like it's a little difficult reaching those, when you actually want the services, the help. Um, it's not it's not as easy as kind of just reaching out and talking to somebody.
Okay.
So yeah. Other than that, I think Kurt Nelson had a good point. He was on your podcast not too long ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he said having a kind of a life outside of work.
Okay.
That's that I think that was a good point when he brought that up because it's true. Our job is I think it intermingles with our personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely having some sort of other activity outside of work, kind of helps keep the mind away from, the stressors that you deal. Either it might be calls or it might be just, I mean, work. So I think having something that keeps you busy outside of work is another thing that helps too.
Okay.
The I mean, as far as that, that's all I can think of that would be, important.
All right. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, just wanted to say thanks for having me. It's I'm glad that someone is.
Thanks for
Uh,
coming on.
yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me.
All right.